Like you believe
Bro,
in the other side, huh? You've got like such a convicted voice when you say that. Like you just believe in it so much.
I wonder if you like, is the hate real or is it just because you don't have, like you don't have one? Like if you had one, would you
yeah,
No,
love
it's
it?
because he sold his.
I paper handed mine in.
That's
I
what it is.
always
No, yeah, I get it. No, like
that.
when you pay, like when I like fumble a bag, I hate that coin.
Yeah, it's like that ex-girlfriend. Like, I didn't even care about her. Like I never even liked her after you break up.
It's weird. Like you could get a bag and you could like 7x or 10x, and then the thing goes 1,000x and you hate it, even though it made you a 10x.
That's so true. That's so true, man. Uh, yeah. I need 1,000x. Anyone got 1,000x?
Out of all people, you don't need 1,000x, bro. We need a
I
thousand
always
x.
want 1,000x, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta buy.
Dude,
You
I'll
gotta
take
buy
a
Star
2x.
Quest.
Hey, speaking of the 1,000,
2x and a
10,000
Jeep.
X, has
Tell
anybody
us
gone
truth
and watched
value. What
the?
is your typical Jeet
Hey,
ratio?
hey, can you hear
What
Tiki?
X are you cheating?
Coco, can you hear Tiki?
I can't hear him at all. He has to round trip.
Hey,
Yeah.
drop down and come back up. Coco.
Be honest, value. What
All
is your
right, all right,
typical
all right.
Jeet ratio? Like where do you Jeet your bag at? Like how many X's?
You talking to me or value?
Value. No. God, this Twitter space shit is so fucking useless.
Can you not hear Coco? I think it's you, bro. Like you're the only one that can't hear anybody.
Yeah, I don't think.
Wait, is Coco talking?
Yeah.
I'm talking. I'm the host.
Yeah, you're gonna have to drop down. Oh no,
What's up, Coco?
What's good?
What are we doing right now?
What are we buying is the real question.
I heard. Hey, Tiki, what were you talking about? You were talking about a 10,000x or something. What were you gonna say?
I have a good.
Yeah, can you
I
can you
can't
hear
hear
me?
him.
Yeah.
Oh
Bro,
man, my
Twitter is
headphones aren't
just on
working.
one right
Hold
now.
on.
Just tell me and I'll relay it.
I could hear him.
Bro, I gave you
We are
guys
really
Solana phones. What's going on? You're not using a Solana phone?
the Solana phone, bro. Send me one, Irvin. Come on, man.
I want a damn Solana phone.
I have a pretty good show if you guys want to hear it.
Something pinky.
Maybe a little later. I don't really want to hear
Yeah,
shit.
no.
Yo.
I mean, you said, what are you buying, right? So
Can you guys
Oh,
hear
okay,
me?
yeah. Let's do a quick.
I can
Okay,
hear
fine.
you.
Let's do a quick
Can you
show for
guys hear
like.
me? I don't think Coco can hear me.
Can you hear Tiki, Coco? Can you hear
I can
him?
hear him. 5
Yeah,
minutes.
Yo. Okay. No, I was wondering because yesterday the highest to stakes video went live on iTunes and Voodoo. I wonder, you guys are talking about 1,000 Xers and Hex was like a 10,000 Xer or whatever. I was wondering if anybody saw that movie, what their thoughts were on that, the highest to stakes.
I didn't see it.
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing because I just passed out. I was watching it before I went to sleep.
That was
It
in like
seemed like it was
movie
pretty well
theaters,
made.
yeah? Was it in movie theaters and stuff?
I don't know.
No, but it was only like special showings, so you had to be in the right spot at the exact movie theater. But now it's available to everybody, so it's getting really good reviews, and I imagine it'll bring a lot of attention to Pulse and Hex. I don't know if it's good attention or bad, but I think in crypto in a bull market, all attention is good attention, right? So
Kind of true. Yeah. It's the attention economy, right? Like that's really what it is.
yeah, it was like
Um,
voted top documentary like for the just after it launched. So I mean, it's I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it's really well done, and I think you don't have to be like a crypto person to watch it, and it just really gets into that kind of. I mean, it's a little bit of the hex cult kind of ish community, but it's like regular guys. I mean, it's like it just kind of shows like the craziness a little bit of crypto, which is pretty cool.
I'll check it out for sure. I own Pulse, so I'm gonna fucking definitely check it out.
I'm here to talk about the ape chains. I heard Coco's launching an ape chain, Pinky, Roman.
I'll tell you what, bro.
It's
I'll tell you
like
what. My ape
multi-ape
chain.
chain.
You don't need no votes for my ape chain, bro. I'm just gonna launch that shit. I don't need to. I don't
For
need
real,
anybody
no
telling
cap.
me I need ape
Bro,
coins or
no
this and
cap.
that, bro. I'll just launch it.
First mover advantage, you know how it goes, right?
For real.
What's up
nah,
with
what
I
do you
bought
think about the ape
Bitcoin.
chain for real on optimism though? What do you think, Irvin?
If you go on the forum on the other one, on the A team, I'm like, bro, like, no. I mean, it's cool if like anyone outside of like these people asking, for money, the foundations does it with like an optimism or optimistic roll up. Otherwise, it should probably be a ZK, right? If they're gonna get some money out of it. That's my take. But besides that, I fucking wrote about saying we need fucking ape chain network. I don't think we need just a fucking single chain. It's, like Nouns DAO is kind of talking about bringing other chains besides Zora. So I think we'll see that play out too.
Dude,
Interesting. What's your
here's
thoughts
my
on that,
issue. Here's my issue with the whole thing, right? Like, I don't know because I haven't paid that much attention to it, but I'm like, how is this gonna help the fucking price of ApeCoin? Like, because I know they want to do a separate coin, so I understand it's a governance token, but I don't understand how you're gonna make a chain and then have another token, and that's gonna help the price of ApeCoin much, which is really all that anyone cares about right now that has ApeCoin, right? Any
Bro,
of the board apes.
like real talk, I wrote a primer. But let me put it simply, look. So most people want staking, and they think that you could get staking by launching a new chain. And like the reality is that you get staking on base by using something like Eiger. And I talked to fucking base and their game. And they're like, bro, we'll fucking do it. Just set up Eiger and you fuckers can go ahead and stake your ape coin, right? And get some rewards off of that. So I mean people don't know, man. But I mean I'm looking forward to seeing new chains. Hopefully Coco does pull through with a chain and other people too as well.
Yeah, man.
We will.
Coco chain.
Coco chain.
Yeah.
Ape chain. Nah, I don't want it. I don't want. That's like I don't. That's too narcissistic to name it after yourself.
Oh,
That'd be
oh
like
God.
Why not? Like
Well,
the sticker is already fire, Coco.
Let's go.
Take
No,
care.
so Irvin, what are you working on like coming into this bull run? You must be pretty excited. We made it through the bear, bro. I know you're always building. What's going on? What are you working on?
Dude, I've been fucking trying to get some more Angel into some of the new VMs, new L1s, L2s coming out with new VM play. So locking that down, but I don't know, man. Games is still kind of like people are getting hyped up, but I'm like, bro, where are the games? There's like nothing.
Bro,
You
have
know?
you had a chance to check out Pinky's game?
bro, I'm gonna send it over to
Oh
you. You
yeah,
can
yeah.
check it
Besides
out.
Pinky, yeah.
Yeah,
Let
man.
me give you a
We
shout.
got a real game.
Yeah. But besides that, Pinky, what other shit is out
There
there
is
besides?
nothing else, bro. You're right. It's only my game. Everything else is there is nothing else. I agree.
No, nah. It's actually I think that gaming is like I just saw Alex Becker make a tweet about that Gunzilla game that's like getting tons of like hype, and it's got like what's that guy Neil Blanc? What's his name? Neil. Fuck, I forget his last name. But that Gunzilla game looks like it's gonna go crazy, and I think it's gonna be on like PlayStation and Xbox and
But
stuff.
is that really Web 3 though? Or is that kind of more like mainly Web 2 and like PlayStation, and then they're just kind of sprinkling in some crypto stuff? Like,
I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't dug too deep into it. Um,
Yeah, my concern is that a lot of these folks, right? I mean, because they are sprinkling, like Pinky says, like the Web3 shit, but not the fucking token, right? Now, if you get the fucking game on the PlayStation, right, or even Steam, and you get the fucking token rolling in, that's a different ball game. But if you're just telling me that, oh, we handle accounts on the blockchain and we stored user information on the blockchain, then I don't know what's gonna happen there.
What do you guys think about ApeCoin right now? Because I got into that pretty high.
I think it's gonna
Like I
rip.
was,
I think people are gonna. Think people have like. It's always goes the opposite, right? Like I think that when they get it together, I think it's going to do well in the bull run. I don't think it's going to go crazy like in the immediate future, but I think when everything else is ripping, I think ApeCoin will for sure start ripping. It's just I can't tell
well,
you when.
if you look at it just from like a technical standpoint, like if you look at like the bull run hitting and it's a top 80 coin, it's down probably, I don't know, 95%. Right? And they're doing a lot of shit. The like a board ape ain't going anywhere. I'm sure this chain will build a lot of hype. Like if even if it just went up to, even if it went like, I don't know, back up to $15, man, that's a huge return, bro. It's like $1.50 right now.
Yeah, it's definitely the time to buy it. Like fuck all the FUD that you hear people saying like, oh, this shit's going to zero, bro. This shit ain't going to zero, bro. Get the hell out of here with
Well, if
that.
they execute properly too, like that's always something that could happen where they start executing really well and the shit goes crazy and goes up to $50 or $100. Like eventually, like that is something that could happen.
Well, if they actually use it in the game and the game's a success, that could be huge.
Or if they do an ape chain and they find a way to implement the token somehow, into that chain, like that will pump the price like crazy.
Yeah, I think so. What's your
Tre-
thoughts, Irvin?
Treasury's still pretty big.
Yeah.
People don't realize that the treasury's pretty big. So if it does rip to 10 or 15, bro, that's a pretty heavy, right? Husky treasury that they should like deploy on. But dude, applied for special counsel like 10 minutes before and shit, and I've been just talking to people, and I'm like, you literally have to fucking try to plug in ApeCoin into the chain. But I mean, I don't wanna sound insulting, but I'm like, these fuckers, they're using stuff like optimism and all this stuff, which is gonna be pretty complex to plug in ApeCoin in, right? And I think most of the people, like, to be honest, like most of the big whales, I mean, I held and I hold a decent amount of ApeCoin, but for like people there that are really, I don't want to say controlling the DAO, right, with their tokens,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense for them to kind of dilute their holdings, right? Because my proposal, and kind of like to a few people, was like, dude, if you go ahead and launch a new chain, probably need to do a recap. Or if you're gonna set a strategy for multiple ape chains, just recap the token. But that's probably not even gonna happen, right? Because if you do a recapitalization of the entire supply, then it means more people get their hands on ApeCoin, right? Which dilutes the holdings of the whales, potentially. But recapping could be a thing, or should be a thing they consider.
I want to DM Machi this link to this shit and see if he'll come in, because he's been like the ape chain, like freaking. He's trying to really push his team.
Yeah, I think too, just like buying the fear on it is like smart. Like when you were saying, Coco, like it was at $1. Like
Yeah,
you're telling me a company like Yuga as like a utility token, and I mean, they have what, like the biggest raise like in history for like tech startups and companies. Like you're telling me they like basically can't let it fail, right? Or it would just be like a PR nightmare for them too. Like I don't see a world where, just it's not a it's like it's gonna get bid up again at a certain point, especially if ETH and Bitcoin are running. It doesn't make any sense. It just feels like
yeah. Like if you can buy it with stables right now, like if you're buying ApeCoin, let's say you got a bag of stables, and you can buy ApeCoin with your stables, not your ETH. Just alone on the appreciation of ETH, you can make money on that ApeCoin. Like think about it. I mean, it's like, bro, like we know ETH is going to go to at least 6K, right, in the bull run. I mean, I think everyone will agree that like minimum it's going to hit 6K, right? So like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
if
bro.
ETH
I
is
think
at
it'll go
2K
closer to
right
10.
now, you can at least expect like, usually alts run way harder than, the big boys when they do go through their alt cycle. Like just strictly on the fact that ETH pumps, you could make money on a $1 ape coin. You know what I mean? So that's why
Well,
I think
another
it's a lot
thing
more.
too, it's like Bored Ape. They've proven over time that they fucking understand timing in the market. They understand when not to do shit, and they understand when to push. Like they've proved it, right? Like you got to give them credit for that. They know how to capitalize on the market. And the bear market, they just were like, you're fighting upstream, dude. When you try to do too much through a bear market, like you just lose. I don't give a fuck who you are. You could be the biggest
Yeah,
company in
yeah,
the
it's
world.
a waste of money to market in a bear market, because like you might get a little bit. Who was it that was telling me that? It was Tiki, huh? What were you saying about your thoughts on like marketing in a bear market, Tiki?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a waste of effort because you basically have to pay 10 times as much to get like 10% of the results. But the problem is the community is, they start crying about it, right? Oh, where's the marketing? Yeah, like somehow that you're going to do it. And a lot of projects will waste their treasury, their war chest in the bear market, thinking that they could kind of reverse that, swimming upstream kind of a thing. The smart projects, what they do is they buckle down and they just build, and they keep their expenses down. And then when they get close to the bottom, they're probably sitting in stable, and they get back into crypto. They get back into coins, conservative coins, ETH, Bitcoin, the top 10, top 15. And then they time it, and they wait for that bull rush to come in, and they try to get in early, pay for the marketing, exchanges, because when you get into a bull market, it gets so expensive to market as well. When you're in the parabolic cycle, like, exchanges all of a sudden, to get in, they want to like a 10, 20 times the listing fee. Marketers start jacking their prices up. Influencers start jacking their prices up. So it's like you got to try to time it so that you're right at the beginning of the bull, and then start deploying that marketing and start kind of getting on top of it to ride that momentum. But it's tough because new projects don't understand this, and so many of them get destroyed in bear markets. I've seen it now going on 3 times. It's only the guys that really get it that are able to kind of withstand it. Even the ones with huge war chests they make those decisions. They're screwed.
It's so true, right? It's so true. Like in crypto, like aside, like the thing that people need to understand about like obviously being a builder in the space is like you have all these other externalities that literally like no other type of tech company has to deal with, right? Like so let's say for instance like a tech company that goes and raises $50 million, like just a typical Web2 Silicon Valley tech company, right? When they raise that $50 million, they don't have to answer to a jury of thousands and thousands of people whose sentiment can affect basically affect like basically the course of the project, and if people are going to hold on to their coin, right? So there's a lot of shit connected that like to crypto projects that actually make it a lot more difficult to survive as a project, I would say. So uh yeah, guys.
Yeah, and the other thing is the people that are in the community, all they care about is the price going up. So they scream about all the wrong things, like all they care about is do something to make the price go up. Like, it's like that one meme, where you're poking the Bitcoin. It's like, do something. And it's like most of the bull people in a lot of these communities, they, maybe they round tripped it, they're holding a big bag, and now they're just like, do something to make my price go up, pump my bag. And it's not always, what everybody's crying about. It's kind of like a disease, right? You got these vocal people saying, do this, do that, do this, you need to do this. And it's not the best thing for the project, but then everybody else starts kind of following along and listening to, what these guys are saying. But a lot of times it's not what's best for the project to actually make it survive and flourish. Patience, timing, like if you get it right, these things, typically a bull market, you outperform expectations, and in a bear market, you underperform, or you basically dip down below expectations. It's a complete slingshot in both directions. But it's hard to survive those cycles, and that's why they have things like the 3-cycle curse and things like that, where most projects after the second cycle, well, most of them don't ever really come back into the spotlight. Almost all of them don't.
That's nice. Actually, Urban, me and my partner Zena were talking about that the other day, about like what happens after the bull run. That's the big question for a lot of projects have to figure out, because it's nice and everything's going up and hits those all-time highs, but then at what point has it turned, and are you throwing money into something that's going down a certain direction for the next 2 to 3 years? And it's something that's really difficult to time for a lot of projects out there, and a lot won't time it properly because no one knows what the fuck the top is at. But it's always interesting to see like how that plays out, because a lot of people in communities actually really just want the price to keep going up. And there's always going to be someone that buys, the all-time high, and then the bear market's going to, go into effect for like 2 to 3 years.
But
And
isn't that
then
relative,
you have to
right?
deal
Like,
with it.
but think about that, right? Like it doesn't like there could be two people that invested the exact same amount of money, and depending on when they invest it, their outlook is completely different. Let's say I never touched ApeCoin before and I just bought it at $1. I'm fucking loving life because the way I'm looking at it is like, man, there's so much upside on this, right? And then you have the people that bought it at $20. Well, like fuck, sometimes we buy local tops. Like I do it all the time. I fucking buy tops all the time. And like I think a lot of it boils down to being accountable to yourself. Like when you bought it, like, oh fuck, maybe I should have timed my investment better. Maybe I should have like
Or
looked
you
at
bought it
it.
at
That's
$2 and you
logical.
round tripped it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm like a round tripper. I'm a top buyer, but also I buy some really nice bottoms. Like that's what people got to understand. It's not so much like depending on where you buy the coin, your outlook is so different on the project. I mean, unless the project is just completely being run like a shit show, then yeah, obviously everyone's
Yeah.
gonna be mad. But it's
No.
like
You know what
I mean,
though? You know what the worst part about like one of the worst things that can happen to a project like is raising too much money in a bull run and then trying to build, because what happens is you raise all this money and then your expenses are fucking ridiculously high. You're paying your team and everybody way too much money. You're doing all this stupid shit, and then especially if it's like a new project, and then the bear hits and all those expenses stay the same, bro. All your developers, everybody still wants to get paid. You know what I mean? And then before you
And
know
where's
it,
the
half of your
motivation too?
yeah,
Yeah, where's the
yeah, exactly.
motivation?
Exactly,
You've
exactly.
already gotten paid off. You've already won the game. Like, what do you even really care about grinding? Because a lot of those projects that really do well, it doesn't matter if it's crypto or the .com era. It's the ones that had to focus on their vision, and a lot of times they had tight budgets, so they had to really make it work and figure it out. But in crypto, like you could raise 100, $200 million, and just kind of ride through the bull market, and you don't care. Like these teams, a lot of them just don't give a shit. They're just like, how do we kind of like keep the price going and just kind of shut people up? I mean, it's crazy.
I
Well,
think
a lot
that's
of
made hey, sorry, I just kind
No,
of
go
jumped
ahead.
in there.
Go
How are
ahead.
you, Coco? How are you, Pinky?
How
Hi,
you doing?
What's up?
Danny. Good. How are you doing? No, I was just
No.
gonna say that's what made Yuga so smart, right? They really leaned out before because they knew the bull was coming. So they cut what 50% of their staff. But I couldn't agree more about ApeCoin. Naturally, I faded it at $1. And I didn't buy in, but you know what's gonna run. And I think it was Pinky that was saying Yuga's too smart. Yuga knows the game. That's why they're going in heavy. So to bet against them would be stupid. I plan to buy ApeCoin, but I'm trying to go heavy into gaming and AI. Nakamoto Games is another one, right? Faded that at $1.20. It hit $2 a couple days ago, just because I'm dumb and don't know where to buy it. So, but doing some of these price projections on these coins, there's no way we can't get out with the 10, 20, 30x easy.
Yeah, that's the thing too, right, Meadow? Like you're saying. So when you look at it and you're talking about buying tops and bottoms, like in the grand scheme of things, if you're buying ApeCoin at $1 or $5, if it's headed to 30, who gives a shit, right? As long as you're in the right vicinity of where you're buying and selling. Like you'd be a billionaire. Everybody would be a billionaire if you had a fucking crystal ball and you knew where the top and the bottom was. But if you can kind of figure out the 20% range where to buy and sell, then you're good.
Well, the other thing too
Like,
that like we don't do good enough, and I keep on saying like the same thing, is the business acumen in the space for a lot of projects isn't where it needs to be. And so like when you think about that transition from the bull market into the bear market, it really equates to like the customer life cycle. If you think about running a SaaS company or an enterprise company, and so, like in the bull market, I would kind of equate that to the onboarding and adoption phase of a project, right? I mean, the onboarding and implementation phase of the customer life cycle. And then as you get into the bear market, it kind of becomes about the adoption. And then towards the end of the bear market, we're moving into the renewal phase, right? And I think you see like projects like Chainlink and ETH, like they do a really good job of this, where it's like it is never about day-to-day price movement, and they don't even acknowledge that shit in their communities, right? And they set up a really programmatic approach to communicating with the community, like what the product roadmap looks like, where things are going, how they're going to progress as a project, and like keeping everybody excited about what they have to look forward to in the next cycle. So like communities don't get all caught up on like price all the time in the bear market when it's not going to do anybody any good. And then to like your point, Pinky, like you start to understand where you need to start trimming resources and getting prepared to like hunker down for the winter, you know?
Yeah, man. Like
yeah, it's like,
oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, when I
No,
see
I was
like
good.
in a bear market,
Yeah, go ahead.
when I see like, so for instance, like it's so funny, like people like were acting like it was super bearish that like some of these companies were laying people off in crypto. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, that's not bearish. That means they know what they're doing, because they understand that they need to save their money, and they understand that they don't want to keep spending money when they understand that the tide is going to be going exactly against them. So like, while like on the surface level, you see a company lay people off like in the bear market, you say, oh fuck, oh this is bad news, they have to lay people off. But like really from a structural, from an organizational level, they're just being smart and lean and thrifty, and like like they're making it so that they can stay alive. Like a lot of us see stuff on the surface level, we don't see all the shit that goes in the background of a project, bro. It's tough, man. It's tough to run a project, especially in Web3. Like there's so much that goes into it.
But like, what do
Dude,
you
it's
think?
I
Go ahead, Pinky. Sorry.
no, I think I know from experience what it's like to have to hunker down because, like for instance, like the team behind ScarQuest, like we didn't do a crazy raise, bro. Like we didn't raise an insane amount of money, but there was a lot of projects around us that raised 10, 20 times as much money, like like 30, 40, $50 million, and they're done. They're dead. They didn't even develop anything. Like most of them are dead, and we're over here. Luckily we have guys on the team that are smart. We've all been in the industry for a pretty long time. We understand the bear market. We understand what you have to do because we've been through it, and we've put together something that projects that have raised $50 million couldn't do.
But
So
what do
it's just the way you manage things.
when you talk like you're talking about managing the financial perspective of it, and I think like you guys know how to do that really really well. What do you do to manage the customer through that customer life cycle? Like, and the customer being like the holder and the community member, right?
I mean, Tiki would probably be better to speak on that. But I think what happens is like, it's
Well, what
just
do you mean by customer? Like, do you mean like somebody who just holds the coin, or somebody who is
Yeah, I
interested
mean,
in your product?
yeah, that's your customer in crypto, right? It's the holder, right? And the person that interacts with like whatever your project is, and primarily that's the holder of the token, right?
Yeah, it's tough, and you just have to accept the fact that a lot of them are going to kind of vanish and disappear for a while, and then they'll come back and wake up. But it's just really hard. You can't keep them there strong and like positive because they're watching their bag basically dip down for 2 years straight. And it's just you kind of have to do what's best for the project until you're ready to basically pump again, and then they all come right back. Then
But is
all
it
of a sudden
hard
they're
though?
believers again. Oh yeah,
I was
because totally, because
Yep.
they're crying about everything and they're trying to get you to do stuff that will basically waste money and stuff because they just want to see they don't care about the bear market. They just look at their coin and go, well, why won't this coin go up? Why can't you make it go up? What are you doing wrong? So they're poking holes in everything you do, and they don't understand. Like Coco and I think you're saying is you got to do what's best for the project, and it's just you have to understand the cycle. And the only way you can understand this cycle is you have to have done it a full cycle and a half. And once you've been through it like hardcore, then you get it.
The fun thing I
get up.
find actually is that
I'm gonna
usually, yeah, I was
I'm gonna
gonna
let
say, the fun thing I
Coco.
find is usually people that actually talk about this stuff, that complain about like their bags, are ones that hold like $10 or $50 worth of tokens. But then to double their
That's
fucking
true.
bag, you got to spend like $5,000 to $10,000 on shit. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I always love asking that question when I hear people like repeatedly message something about like them like wanting something to move, and then I'm super curious, how much are you actually holding? Then I hear like, oh, $50. I'm like, so I got to spend like fucking like 10 grand or 5 grand on something to make your bag 2x, And it's like, what the, it's like,
Temporarily,
no.
yeah. It's a temporary, yeah. It'll 2x and dump
I'm gonna
again.
play devil. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here a little bit because I honestly, I'm a big believer that it's not the community member. I think it's the project founders that set the wrong expectations with the community and their holders, right? And so what that typically has to do with when you're managing a customer relationship is cadence and setting expectations, right? So like when you manage a large enterprise account or you manage a SaaS customer, you don't go run a spaces with them every single day and answer all their goddamn questions in a telegram every 5 seconds, right? Like you have customer support and things like that, but there's a programmatic approach
Yeah.
to the way that you manage the community. So like if I think as an industry, if we did better at managing the customer, the holder, and the community in those bear markets, and we set a reasonable cadence, whether it's like a 1 month check-in, and we got really programmatic about how we were going to share what they could expect in the future, I think projects would have a lot more success through the bear market, honestly.
Well, that's interesting because it's like for like these big tech companies like in Web 2, it's like they do their quarterly report, or like they just like it's like, okay, we wait and then we find out. It's not like, like obviously the people internally are doing stuff like that, but I do understand what you're saying, right? Like, like people, for all of it, crypto's flaws and all of the scammy shit and all of the bad stuff that you have, like the part that's really amazing about crypto is like if you're an investor in a coin or you buy something and there's a project that you're like interested in, like you can reach the founder, or like you can get directly to the founder, you can talk to the people on the team, like you can actually like have a part in that, and that you can't really do that is easy with some of these other companies, right? Like there's always kind of like that barrier. So like, yeah, crypto has its downfalls, but it
So
also
what are you
has
going to do? Are you going to tell your community that, hey, expect an 80 to 95% dip because every coin is going to do that dip? You don't want to do that either
100%.
because then everybody's going to exit out. I think the cycle is a beast of its own. It's different, and I don't think there's no way out of it. Like the people are going to hate you as your price drops and dies for 2 years. It's just the way it is. It's the cycle.
See, but
Yeah, it's just part of the business.
I think about when you talk about customer relationships, even though Web3 you can reach founders, I think they still have a lot of opportunities. Think about those mofos at OpenSea, right? If they freaking did it right,
yeah,
blew them out of the water, I think they ruined their chances for freaking
that's
listing their
true.
thing on the stock exchange. They suck. There's like 3 people left at that goddamn company, and nobody
Yeah,
gives a damn. Like, you know what I mean? So I
yeah,
feel like
I,
if they
I'm
took
like
care of
pissed
it
at OpenSea
right,
right now.
yeah,
Think
frick
about
OpenSea, they
coin.
effed it up. right?
Think about
Yeah,
Coinbase.
they fucked it up.
Think about
You know what
Coinbase.
though? But
Like,
they sucked from the start. OpenSea just had a lot of workers, but they've been horrible from the start, man. They never.
But they never took the time to freaking.
Yeah.
They had live people who were willing to give them feedback. They never listened to it. You know
Dude,
what
check
I'm
this
saying?
out. Check this out.
Curse
I
of the
looked at
first
a
mover
stat.
advantage.
I looked at
Yeah.
a stat,
Sorry, go ahead.
bro. A stat of November of 2022, OpenSea, they made $297 million, and November of this year, 1 year, they've made $1,009.
That's what they
Holy
get.
shit! What?
Yeah,
Holy
That's what they
shit,
get.
man.
But
Jesus.
you know what's
What is
Fuck those
interesting?
people.
yeah.
I tried to reach out. So, you know, a trick is sometimes when you don't get who you need, you go up the chain, right? You go to the very top. And so I got the emails for the freaking chief like tech officer, another vice president. I emailed all of them. No response. I found one director who responded, and then
Seriously?
I swear to God. I swear to God. And after that, and I was like, you know what? Screw them. I'm gonna go use Blur. I gave him a chance, but this director lady was like, well, let's figure it out. And I was like, we just need to fix this. You guys have really big problems. And she was responsive at the beginning, and then she just faded me because she was waiting on the tech people. So they did it to themselves. They could have
I've been.
they could have been, yeah, they could have been like
Yeah.
Coinbase. They could have went public
Yeah.
in the bull, and they would have went crazy. But you know what? That's what you get.
I've been
well,
seeing
David,
Yeah,
you
how
said
fucking shit they
Coinbase.
are right now because I can't get any support with them, and I just went to fucking Rarible, and now we're going to Blur. But like, it's fucked up that how big they are that you can't get a human response from them for months. Like seriously, how can this be as big as you are? It doesn't
yeah,
make any sense.
yeah. I've heard
Dude, and
I've heard
Coinbase.
nothing but bad things about OpenSea over the past like 6 months. It's just been like downhill. It's terrible.
What even Coinbase, like you guys mentioned Coinbase, like this is a company that's a publicly traded company, right? And you know, I do a lot of volume on Coinbase. I'm not in comparison to some of you guys, but like I have a big enough account where I would be a tough customer to lose for them. I purchase all of their extra products like Coinbase One. And a scenario is like I sent Value a token, right? I know Value does a fair amount of business with Coinbase too, right? This token that I sent to Value is stuck in his exchange account because I sent it to the wrong wallet. It has now risen to $30,000 fucking dollars, and we have both contacted Coinbase, and we get no fucking support. So you have two customers that are doing a considerable amount of volume on your exchange. They buy all of your premium products and services, and you're a fucking publicly traded company, and you cannot take care of what would be top tier customers. It's pretty crazy.
The first place they cut, unfortunately, is the consumer perspective. So they won't put money in it, and they're so dumb. Like the same thing with Coinbase. I have problems too. I do all of my trading on Coinbase. Unfortunately, KuCoin wants me to KYC, and I won't do it. So I got crap stuck there. But they just won't invest in it. Like I tried their Coinbase One, which is a scam, by the way. I'm canceling that crap because I just use advanced trade now. But I tried to reach out, and it was some offshore customer service like, hello, how are you? Like, what can I do for you today? Oh, can you repeat that question? Like, just terrible. Sorry, I'm hot. I need to
Dude,
probably get off.
you know what? You guys want to talk about? You want to talk about
Great.
KYC?
Okay, I hate Coinbase and OpenSea just because.
Well, good, Dan. I knew I liked you. Good.
Yeah, you guys
I'll
want to
share
talk
my
about
sushi.
KYC? I just had a Bitcoin and like 1.8 Bitcoin stuck. I tried to do a simple swap because I want to trade over to ETH, just so I can lose it on shitcoins. So I traded some Bitcoin over to ETH, and I use simple swap all the time, and I've never had an issue. And then all of a sudden, I get after like 45 minutes of waiting for my Bitcoin to get there, I get the KYC notice. We want to do a full KYC on you, this, and that. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like I emailed them. And then finally, after like all night, I'm like, bro, you guys aren't gonna hold my money hostage. I'm like, just send it back. I don't need you to go through with the process. Just send it back if that's the case. Then they say, oh, there's somebody reported your Ethereum wallet. That's why we held it. And I said, it's a brand new wallet. That's fucking impossible. I just created the wallet. 20 minutes later, oh, it's resolved, and then they sent me my ETH. So what they were trying to do is because it was a big amount, that just in case I was like stupid enough to just let them take my Bitcoin and not say anything, if I was a criminal or something, they were just going to take my money. It's crazy.
I think this is part of like
Fucked up game.
centralized exchanges plan. They all do stuff like that. They do weird things like that where they probably make millions of dollars off of just people just abandoning their money because it's too much of a hassle. I've seen it
Oh,
in
hell
like
yeah,
every.
they do. It's actually very similar to what happens in the city. If you don't have a next of kin and you fucking die, guess where your house and all your property goes to? It's the same system.
Then you spend 10 years trying to get it out through probate.
Yep.
Yeah, I also hate all centralized exchanges as well.
So this is turned into the hate show. This is the hate
Long
show.
live
Let's just hate
Dex's and
everything.
Thorchain. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a pretty hardcore decentralization maxi too.
You got a crazy echo on your
Is it
phone.
me or is it you?
I'm muted. Hold on.
It's value.
Dan.
It's
I think
value.
it's value.
Yo. Now there we go. Damn, everyone just kind of vented right there. We're just like,
Yeah, I felt good. That felt
yeah,
good.
that
It
felt real
did
good.
feel
Sometimes
good.
you just
That
need a
felt really
vent. You
good.
need a vent sesh, and everyone's just
Bro,
like,
I can go off on OpenSea for like a week, man. It's just so pissed off about like their shit support and how they
Well,
don't respect
you
anything.
know what the worst part about OpenSea? Well, one of the worst parts is like through the bull run too. When NFTs were going nuts, they were fucking people over. But like when somebody had like a stolen NFT, if you'd go and buy it, like the only person that they were hurting is the purchaser. Like, they were like flagging shit, and then you couldn't even like hit them up to say, "Hey, I just bought this. I didn't steal this, right?" So then so many people got fucking hurt just buying off of that stupid site.
I like Rarible and Blur. I mean, fuck OpenSea. At least they have a token too, actually. I mean, like, there's so many things with them. Anyway, yeah.
what are we bullish on? Okay, we negged out for a good 30 minutes there.
Yeah.
What are we bullish on? Let's think of some positive stuff. What are you guys thinking?
I'm bullish
What
on
are we excited
DeFi.
Solana.
for?
Everything
Solana.
DeFi. Real DeFi.
What do you consider real DeFi?
No admin keys. It's actually real DeFi. Basically anything developing with DEXs, cross chain, all that kind of stuff.
Thorchain. Thorchain is awesome.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite.
Thorchain. Yeah,
Yeah, Thorchain is amazing. What about you,
yeah.
Roman? The dev. We've had Irvin up here, but Roman, you haven't said a word. We've been talking about all kinds of stuff. What's your opinion, Roman? What are you most interested in the future?
I did say a word. I said that value is going to create the noise over here, and he did.
Ah, I see.
I like Torchain. Like my opinion. Like I'm kind of skeptical just because there is no like basic check in place in terms of like if you trade black crypto or not. Like if you use it a lot, you're gonna end up like having black crypto in your wallet, like, and you're gonna have problems with that again. So yeah, it's better to use something like simple swap just because they do have some checks. Like obviously don't go crazy and swap like 10,000 ETH like Pinky did like
Yeah,
yesterday.
but how do you do size if you don't want to use a centralized exchange? Like we can't. Like, what's the point of crypto? Like we're not supposed to be using it as a bank, right? Like basically a centralized exchange there's a lot of the same properties as a bank, right? So like
Yeah, but there
if
has to be
Thorchain
a
is
balance somewhere. Like if you just like lose all the control measures, then like you're gonna lose as well. Like if you go the other extreme and you only stick to centralized exchanges, yeah, you're gonna lose some comfort as well. So I guess the balance is somewhere in the middle.
yeah, I hate centralized exchanges. All they've ever done is rug pull me and steal my money. So like I'm
Yeah.
kind of with Tiki. So like I guess it's an experience thing, right? If you've never had a centralized exchange like exit scam on you, then you probably don't hate them as much as someone like me
Yeah.
who had a bunch of money in a centralized exchange like 5 years ago, and they just
They wreck a lot of projects
disappeared.
too. They wreck a lot of startup projects in ways that the average trader doesn't realize.
Yeah.
Controlling like the majority of their coins, holding them hostage, trying to get you to pay all these things, especially if you're a new project and you don't really know. Everybody's saying, when's sex? When are you going to get on a centralized exchange? And a lot of times that's when it's death, like it has to be strategic to get on an exchange. I mean, you really don't need it. You guys remember Hex. They went to what, 50, $100 billion market cap without ever trying to get on an exchange. If they were on a centralized exchange, they had nothing to do with it. So it's possible. You can be in the multi-billions of dollars of market cap. You do not need a centralized exchange. And it's only going to get better in this next cycle.
Yeah, the thing that I
I
don't like
agree.
about exchanges is like they can literally just come up with anything they want at any moment and just be like, "Oh, you don't get your coins," and they do it all the time, man. They do the shit every single cycle. There's some bullshit that
Well,
happens
what do
with
they
the
say?
exchanges.
Not your keys, not your crypto, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the truest thing that ever held true in all of crypto. But for some reason, that it's a convenience thing, right? Like people don't mind foregoing custody for convenience, and like until people really like, but you know what? Then okay, so then you look at something like Coinbase, right? Like Coinbase is like the shining light of like centralized custody, right? Like they try to do everything right. Most American people have a Coinbase account. And they're you don't almost kind of you kind of almost don't put them in the same category as like an FTX or like a BitGet or a Bybit, right? Like you kind of separate Coinbase from those exchanges, and probably another reason too is because everyone uses Coinbase to cash their crypto into USD. So I don't know. I think like if you're the type of person that values just using crypto for what it's really meant to be used for and like the freedoms that it brings, then yeah, I would suggest doing most of your stuff on decentralized stuff. But I do believe there is a place for some type of custody, but you need to know the risks of it. Like if you're gonna put your stuff in it, if you're gonna put your crypto into something that like where they're custodying your crypto, you have to know that there's always a chance that that shit's gonna just disappear because that means that someone else is holding your money.
And
How
we're
many
right back
times
on
have
the
we
hate.
seen the biggest exchange exit out? How many times now? Mt. Gox, FTX. I mean, we've seen so many giant exchanges literally just basically exit scam or just basically get the rug pulled out.
We're never
It's going
talking
to
about
keep
the small
happening.
ones that keep going away, like fucking Hotbit, you know, like that cut out recently.
They'll
I
be
mean,
back
there's
at a
so many.
different name. They'll be back for under a different name though. You know, it'll be the same team or like some of the same team, but they'll just have a different name and they'll come back in the bull run or something. They probably already have come back. They're just like working their way up under a different brand. That's how it works with them. And like the centralized exchanges, um, to be honest with you, there's a huge monopoly in China. They have like it's almost like they have like a cookie cutter mold to like build these like centralized exchanges. Um, and they're like the best at like getting them up fast and like faking the way that they look so they look bigger than they really are and like faking how many followers and how many users they have and then they get a lot of projects. Their model is actually at the beginning is just to charge projects fees to list, and that's where they make the majority of their money. Um, and they just have massive people doing outreach coming into every community. I have a proposal. I have a marketing proposal from this exchange. Like that's literally their business model is to suck money out of projects. So I think all projects should do it like make like some kind of like pact amongst each other that like none of them will ever pay a cent to list on a centralized exchange. You want to see how fast the centralized exchanges will start listing everyone? If every project said, "Hey, we're not gonna ever pay to be listed on a centralized exchange," and they all stuck to their guns.
The centralized exchanges lie through their teeth too. I've never seen they lie. They tell you you're going to get this, that. They want to charge you for this, that, and then you pay. You cough up the money, you get, and then you don't get any of it. It's like it's all fake. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Anyways, yeah, this has been a good vent session. We've been just going off
Hate,
about the
hate
things that suck.
fest. Hate fest.
Yeah, yeah. So
We tried to get away from it, but we went right back to it.
yeah,
Hate chain.
Hate chain.
nah. I actually want the ape chain to come out, but I just want it to be a good,
But what do
well-run
you think?
chain.
What do you think? How do you think that helps the coin? How do you think it helps ApeCoin?
Well, it depends on how they run the tokenomics and the token economy, right? Like if it gives value back to the ape holders, then yeah.
Dude, I would build something on ApeChain. Like if they did it, if they implemented ApeCoin and they did it right, I think it could be a massive success. But you got to do it right, man. You have to implement the token correctly.
I think it needs to help both, right? The apes and ApeCoin, not just like that. It's all connected, right? It needs to benefit both ape holders as well as ApeCoin holders.
Yeah, but
because the
then
thing is,
there is a question like, what's the incentive for the ape community to actually use ape chain? Because like if you look at Bored Ape community, for example, like they have all their assets on Ethereum right now, and they seem to be like satisfied with the gas fees just because their assets like $100,000 worth or so. They're like, okay, paying like $50 to sell or buy something. So there's like a big challenge. Like, and I heard that the ape community they like have a decent discussion around that. It's like, what do we do to incentivize actually like ape community to actually use the ape chain? Like, for example, like we have apes. Like, what would make you guys bridge your apes over to ape chain? Like, what do they have to offer?
That's a good point. Like, I don't know what would make me do that.
Exactly.
Why would
That's the challenge.
But if it's a layer 2, like, do you need to?
Yeah,
Like, if it's a layer 2?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if it's like an ape chain, like you would probably want to see ape community using that chain for their assets, and Bored Ape community has to be part of that.
You would probably have to do it like Pulse Chain, where you just get a copy. So it's like you're not losing what you have on Ethereum, but you're getting a copy over to the Ape chain, and then the community can decide where they want the value to go. That's basically what's happening with Hex.
Yeah, but copy, I don't know how that would potentially work if you got like your ape on ape chain and Ethereum at the same time, and if you sell it on ape chain, how do you treat the Ethereum counterparty? I don't know. Like you have to bridge, like, so it has to be like the asset that sits in one place and not the two places at the same time.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It could actually be bad for the whole ape economy. There's
Yeah, so
actually that
probably that's
possibility.
one of the reasons why they all discuss this like ape chain coin that is not ape coin, because if you create a new coin, you can build a different tokenomics around that. For example, like just like out of like randomly out of blue, like an idea, like if you move your Bored Ape over to ape chain, they airdrop you ape coin chain or something like that. So they give you like an extra incentive to manage your assets over there.
Yeah.
Coco's having fun for sure.
Coco's having a party, you know.
Yeah.
Bro, you
Yeah, it's a tough one, right?
It is. There's a lot of decisions to be made, but it's like, I think anything that stimulates the economy and makes more people come to it, it can be a net good. And you also got to think about the timing. Like, if they were to launch a chain, like, the best time for them to launch a chain is right now, because we're going into a bull run. It would be terrible for them to launch the chain at the end of this bull run if they took forever, right? They need to get it up fast, in my opinion, because timing is very crucial.
How about some kind of stake where like you stake your ape and your some ape coin and you get like an airdrop back, depending on how long you stake in and the coins and the ape, and you get the ape chain back.
Yeah, but how does it help the ape chain, like in terms of the usage?
Well, I mean, it would people would start using it, and then, you know,
And
you would have.
also, where does the tokens come from? Do they happen in a treasury? Because then if they're just there, then you have fucking inflation
Yeah,
happening.
but yeah, I mean, you just make a bunch of like just keep creating coins and just keep handing them out. You know, you just keep doing it. Just keep creating. Just keep printing.
bro, the vent session got me so motivated. You guys know what I'm doing right now? I literally went and found every single customer support leader from Coinbase on LinkedIn, and I'm getting all their email addresses off Zoom Info, and I'm going to put them on an email thread with Brian Armstrong.
Nice.
Nice, man. I did that actually yesterday with OpenSea. I went and checked out all the links, see if I can find anything on LinkedIn or people that were like connected with them. Just started fucking DMing them because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, what type of business model is this? But you don't even have the time to send a message back, and it's weird, right? That such a big organization doesn't do that. I feel like they're on the way out. I would be surprised if they're here, in the next year or so. I think they're going to be overtaken by other like NFT marketplaces.
Dude, you gotta put the support people on an email thread with like the CEO, because it gets blown up, bro. They get fucking shook, and then they get nervous because like the CEO's on there, so they answer it. I've done this like 2 or 3 times. It works pretty good. Value, send me your email address.
All right, yeah, make it. If you make it happen, man, dude, I will love you. I mean, $30,000 just sitting there. What I
Yeah,
mean,
man, that's pretty
it's
cool.
great.
Pretty cool. You're gonna give him 50% of that.
Yeah, I love it.
That's pretty. That's pretty cool that you got a kickback average with some of
Yeah,
that, huh?
I'm a
Value.
diamond. I'm a diamond hand community member now. I'm holding the floor. Yeah. I mean, you guys kind of packed. You guys hit a lot of topics, man. I was gonna go, but now there's like 3 that you guys did: Ape Chain, and then customer service. You know, but dude,
Dude, that was a good vent session. We haven't had one of those in a long time. That was
I think
hardcore.
a lot of the thing, like one of the only points I had earlier about like is like customer service is that like your expectations of like, or I guess the standards that have been set by big corporations in general. Like, I don't really think Coinbase is that like left field for having a shitty like customers. Like, have you ever tried to do a support request on Twitter or like any big product like customer service with Chase? Or I think someone said it, but like, have you guys ever heard "bye for now"? Like, dude, dealing with Jeets and dealing with like customer service, like every single big tech company outsources their customer service. Like now, like you have to call, you have to sit there for fucking 30 minutes. I want to talk to an agent. I want to talk to an agent. And it's like impossible to actually get real help. Like that's why I switched to TD Bank, because every time I had a problem with Chase, you have to fucking call and sit there for an hour, and it's the most frustrating, infuriating process ever because they don't even know what's going on. Even Coinbase, like if you do the Coinbase support with like their DMs, they don't even know what's going on the blockchain. Like I'm over here explaining to the lady what happened and how ERC 720s work on like my Coinbase DMs with her. So like, you know, it's just like, but that's how like all big corporations operate, you know. And I don't even think that's ever been like a barrier of like failure to these companies, because they still do what they're meant to do, you know. Like I don't know, maybe like Publix is like the only great customer service business out there. I don't know, maybe like
You got to think how much bullshit they deal with too. Like crypto,
yeah,
there's so much scams
yeah.
and shit. Like it's just
And
never ending in
the
crypto.
thing, but the point you were making, Coco, is that like in crypto, like it's like direct lines of communication with your holders and all that, like that, all of that, and it's the attention leads to like most of these projects is like the speculative value of it. Like at the end of the day, people just want the price to go up, so they're over here just like on the fucking founder's ass, like trying to make their bags go up, right? But like in like traditional finance and like these other corporations and like shareholders of the stock, like you're buying these things, and I think you guys said like Ethereum and Chainlink too. Like you're buying these products to like use them and like for the use case of it, and you want to park value in there long term for the most part, right? Like these companies and shit on the street. So I think like these smaller cap things are just different. Like these fucking NFTs, like you can literally bitch at the founder on Twitter, you know, and like he sees it and he'll talk to you and respond to you. Like that's kind of why I like crypto too, because you can actually talk and like have direct lines of communication. You know what I mean? Compared to like other businesses where I think you said like you're waiting for like an earnings call every fucking like a quarterly report and that's it.
Bro, you're right about Publix, man. You can take a 16-month-old steak back into Publix, and you could have bought it at Walmart too, and they'll give you a new steak, bro. It's wild.
That's
Dude,
solid.
Publix is heaven, dude. Publix is the best place on the planet.
Is that a restaurant? What is that?
It's a grocery store.
Publix.
Hey, Pinky.
Yo, what up?
So I don't know. Probably most of the people in here are in the early access Telegram group. But if not, I'm driving right now, so I can't be like linking, sharing, and stuff. Can you go in my call channel and grab that link and pin it, make a tweet, and pin it up here so people can follow into that Telegram that I created yesterday that got hacked immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? That was
Yeah, it was
funny,
pretty
huh?
funny.
As soon as I did, like people just started hacking it. And
They
like,
started going at you. It was pretty funny. I liked it.
I didn't realize there's so many people that just hate me. So weird.
Really? Really? I could have told you.
Dude.
All rich people everyone hates the rich, dude. You know, it's like a common thing.
Let's see. Where is this?
I don't think Coca tweeted it. Like he only
No,
posted.
I'll tweet it. I'll tweet it, and then I'll.
What do you guys think aside from Ethereum NFTs, what would you guys say would be the next best chain for NFTs that's coming out there?
Blast.
Yeah, probably Blast, just because it's made by NFT people.
Yeah, I think Blast is gonna shake. Like, I made a post the other day. I was like, you guys can keep fudding it and keep listening to people that are fudding it, but I'll tell you what, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And those guys pulled over $600 million worth of ETH in like a week. So we deal in a financial market. This is all about finance, and those guys, for some reason, a lot of that money went over there. They have more TVL than Solana right now, bro. Like, think about that for a
Wow.
second. That's crazy. So you can
Is
hate
there a
as much as you
marketplace
want
for
on it.
Blast right now?
No, they just had everyone bridge over, and their mainnet goes live in February. I'm actually super bullish on Blast because, like, whenever I see everyone hating and fudding on it so much, like, I know it's gonna be bullish. Like, I just know it's gonna be bullish. The more like FUD it gets, and like people like, oh, this is such bad practice. I'm like, but then why is everyone throwing their money over there? Oh, maybe people find it bullish. And at the
And
end
they
of the day,
definitely
bro,
gonna have a marketplace there
you can
because
have the
it's
coolest
blue.
practices, you can be the coolest, whatever, this, that, but if people aren't bullish on you, you're not gonna survive. And I think there's $600 million worth of bullish people on that chain.
Yeah, that's gonna do well. It's gonna go crazy.
That's absolutely crazy, man. People
That dude,
saying,
it's gonna be closer to like 2-3 billion by the time it launches.
dude, all you gotta do is just tweet out your wallet address, man. That's it. But no, I think it'll do well. I mean, Blur hit it out the park, right? It's a great product. Most of the stuff those guys work on does pretty well. They know how to build attention too. Even with
They
their,
killed it.
yeah, I mean, even with like some of the NFTs they've backed, they've like, I mean, their price is not doing well anymore, but the hype launch that they've had, like they did Rick and Morty's project, like they know how to market stuff too, man. So
Hey, how do you do it? I don't know how to pin the post.
We've done like months and months and hundreds of spaces, and you don't know how to pin a post?
Yeah, I've
Are you
never wanted.
serious?
I never wanted to say it because I felt I was too deep already, and people think I'm stupid if I.
running one of the biggest games, one of the biggest blockchain games in the world, and you don't
Yeah.
even know how to pin a fucking post.
Hey man.
Yeah, no, I figured out in the last spaces. You just
Yeah.
go to the tweet. You don't have
Okay.
to like do something inside spaces. You just go to the tweet and then click on share, and you'll see the option will be there to share in the space. It's that easy.
Okay.
That's where I got it wrong. Is I thought I had to do something right here on the spaces. You don't. You just go
Share
find
it
the
with
tweet.
community.
Click. You'll see share Coco space. You'll see it at the top.
Ah.
Thought leader
Okay.
in the most volatile, innovative field on the planet for
Yeah.
tech,
Yeah.
and don't know how to pin a tweet.
Okay. Let's see. Did that work?
Yeah, bro. You just fudded yourself right there.
Hey man. Oh, I did. It didn't work. I did it wrong.
You got to do the dots, the little
Sometimes it
dots.
takes a second.
Dots.
Yeah.
The dots on the left.
What the fuck?
Did you guys
What?
see Elon tell the CEO of Disney to fuck off on live TV just now? He literally said "fuck off."
What did he do?
Like Elon just now, like 30 minutes ago, he was like doing an interview, and he goes, hey Bob, Igor, like the guy of Disney, fuck off." Like literally just like that on TV, like just fuck off. And then he said it again. He's like, "Fuck off." It's like all over Twitter right now.
I love him.
He's a machine.
Does that shit work?
He's gonna pump Blast. Watch.
All right. I did it. I figured it out.
Hey, what is this? This is for the early access thing. Yeah, up top.
Yeah. Get in there because we're gonna. If you're in that room, you're gonna get first access to the fucking dopest bot of all time.
Are we talking about the bot in here, or like?
I mean, we could.
Oh, value. You got to tell them about the new clothes we got coming, bro.
Stuff. Oh yeah. So we're looking around and like I'm gonna take a ton of pictures and like. Wait, you guys can hear me, right? Yeah, it's fun, man. We're gonna
Yeah.
like I'm gonna like there's a couple slogans like buy the fucking dip. We're so back. Like we're gonna have some shirts with them, and that's gonna be like our shit, like our branding. Like, bro, it's gonna be dope. I'm gonna take like the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Like the same
No.
meme
My
pictures.
shit's delayed.
Yeah, I'm gonna like take pictures with like some of the Web3 girls. Like you guys all know the bullshit that I post all the time. I'm gonna do it, but with the shirts, like so, like a shirt will say the devs are based, the devs are based, and then it'll be like one of these crypto girls. Like it's gonna be cool, man. There's like a lot of community members supporting it. You're gonna have a lot of people wearing this shit. It's gonna be dope. So
Dude, we have our website dropping. You guys are gonna be fucking blown away by our website, man. It's like it rivals any fucking website in the game.
yeah. I mean, I like that we're gonna have our own merch and shit. That's dope. Cause like instead of wearing, bro, all I wear is like Bored Ape merch and like crypto merch. So like at least we can rep our shit. You know, I just wear like
Yeah,
our.
that's exactly why. That's why I'm stoked. I hope, bro. Can we get some of it done before we go to Miami?
We
Yeah,
should.
bro. I mean, dude, I
That
can
would be
even get
sick.
like I have like a printing press guy. We could just get a couple for us and just rock it out, bro. I bet you everybody's gonna be asking. I know for a fact people will be like asking us for some because like it's all the phrases that everyone already uses in the fucking market. Like the sellers are out of tokens, like shit, like that's
Bro,
all
you
shit.
don't give it all away, bro.
Nah, just for us, bro. We're gonna be those guys, you
No, I'm
know.
talking about the ideas. And honestly, bro, anybody in this group, we're gonna hook you up. Like normally the shirts are gonna be about 350, but for you guys, we're gonna do it for like 250.
Talk about dollars.
Yeah,
Oh, nice. Or like
yeah, man. We're gonna
payments
hook
of
you guys up.
1999.
Hey, this is designer Hanes. This is
Yeah.
Hanes brand
Yeah,
designer.
Nah, we'll get
T-shirt.
good. The shirts will be solid quality.
yeah.
Gildan. They'll be
The
Gildan.
best of China's finest linen. You
Gilded.
know, the
And
most
since we
Yeah.
are all bullish on Blast, can we make one edition with the spinner LED from the Blast website image?
the most finest of
I think
Asian
Blast is
linen.
gonna take off, man. All right, I'm gonna drop down though because I can't hear shit and I'm echoing like crazy.
Yeah, I'm down to hop on one tonight, Value. I gotta close it down too, but I appreciate
Yeah,
everyone.
we can do it. I'll host
You
it.
wanna
We'll just,
you wanna host one tonight?
yeah, I'll do it.
All right, bro. I'll pop in. Just let me know.
All
All right,
right,
guys.
later.
Peace. Thanks for joining. We're
Peace.
gonna do these more often.
Later,
Bye.
guys.